Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, the weekend. We can see it. It's on the horizon. It's almost there. Hope you're having a great day. We're going to go over week 2 on Saturday, what's coming up. Friday, too. No football tonight, unfortunately. The NFL starting tonight, so no college tonight. I don't know why college football keeps bowing down to the NFL. I mean, I really don't. But anyway, gotta wait till tomorrow for college football. We're also going to go over 2 things that happened last Saturday. Things that kind of surprised me. Before we start, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. With it, let's get started. I got some news items here. Former Nebraska head coach and player, he was the quarterback, Scott Frost. He is poised to be a senior football analyst with the LA Rams. So it looks like he's going to get a new career started. Pretty good player back in Nebraska back in the day. Not so much a head coach. Just didn't work out. I was really hoping it was going to work out for him as coach there, coming back to his alma mater, but it just didn't. So it looks like he's going to be a senior football analyst with the LA Rams. Did you see the Abilene Christian Texas Tech game? Close game. Texas Tech barely won that one. Well, afterwards, the team bus, Abilene Christian team bus, was involved in an accident while leaving Lubbock. 19-year-old drunk guy, or girl, I'm not sure which one, hit the bus. I mean, just ran into the bus. 1 player, 2 coaches, and the bus driver, all slightly injured. Driver was arrested, booked into jail. Going to be a court date for him soon. So let there be a lesson. Don't drink and drive, especially on a college campus where it's so busy after a game. Some incredible performances happened on Saturday. A couple of them. Arizona wide receiver Taterio McMillan, 304 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns for him. Hell of a game for him. And then Boise State running back Ashton Gentry rushed for 267 and 6 touchdowns. Hell of a game for him. Man, talk about some badass performances. There's no other way to say it. Those are just badass performances. Mountain West Conference, they have opted out to extend scheduling partnership with Oregon and Washington State. The last 2 teams left standing in the Pac-12, now it's Pac-2, for next season. Creates uncertainty for what these 2 teams are going to do in terms of scheduling. I guess they're hoping they can join some conference somewhere. I don't know. I always thought Mountain West might be a good fit for them, but we'll see what happens there. Some injuries. Alabama star offensive tackle Caden Proctor, he is week to week after his shoulder injury last Saturday. Georgia edge rusher, he's also week to week. Mikael Williams, grade 2 ankle sprain, suffered in the Clemson game, and I think I read that happened like in the first 1 or 2 plays of the game. So, and then Notre Dame wide receiver Jordan Faison, he will miss 1 to 2 weeks also with an ankle injury. Miami defensive end, Reuben Bain Jr., could be out a couple of weeks with a soft tissue injury. Didn't see what type of injury it was, but hopefully those 4 guys can get back soon. We're going to end the news on a little sad news here, especially in the greater Houston area. Longtime Rice baseball coach Wayne Graham passed away at 88 years old. Took the Owls to 23 conference tournaments, won the national championship in 2003. I believe it was against either Stanford or Cal State Fullerton. I think it was a West Coast team. But yeah, won the national championship in baseball, the school's only national championship. 88 years old, great coach. They've kind of, Rice and Wayne Graham kind of both decided, hey, it's not working anymore because he didn't have much. He had success, but not much success as he did earlier on. So those last few years, he decided to part ways. They decided to part ways. Rice baseball has just never been the same since he left. They have decent seasons, but nothing spectacular like when Wayne Graham was their coach. So prayers to you, coach, your family and friends, and all the former players, man. You're going to be missed. All right, so we'll go over some things from last week real quick. I was going to watch the Minnesota-North Carolina game last Thursday. Got the weather delay, so I started watching Western Carolina, North Carolina State game. Man, I could not pull myself away from that game. Western Carolina played them well. thought the upset was going to happen. They looked great until about the fourth quarter, maybe into the fourth quarter a little bit. Western Carolina actually was leading that game by 4 when it went to the fourth quarter. NC State, 21 unanswered points scored in the fourth quarter. Western Carolina quarterback Cole Gonzalez, great game. He was 22 for 35, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 75 yards. On the other side, NC State quarterback Grayson McCall, 26 for 40, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jordan Waters rushed for 123 and 2 touchdowns for the Wolfpack. And Concepcion, however you say his name, Concepcion. Awesome, man. 9 catches, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns in that game. Great game. Kind of glad the NC State or the NC Minnesota game was weather delayed because I really enjoyed watching that game. That was a good one. Tulane beat Southeast Louisiana 52-0. I was surprised Southeast Louisiana didn't put up more of a fight. I mean, they're a pretty good FCS team that made the playoffs a few years, but no. What's surprised that North Dakota State did not beat Colorado? North Dakota State, we've known about their legend in FCS, all these national championships, playoff runs every year. They did show they are a force in the FCS though, because they did give Colorado a hell of a game. But I really thought they were going to beat Colorado. North Carolina beat Minnesota by 2. Wasn't surprised. I figured that would be a close game. Moving on to Friday, I was surprised Michigan State didn't dominate Florida Atlantic. But when your quarterback throws for 114 and 2 interceptions, probably not going to happen. I was surprised Stanford TCU game, such a good game. TCU won 34-27. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover, great game. 353 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown. TCU did have 91 more yards and penalties. I figured TCU was going to not annihilate Stanford, but beat them pretty good. That didn't happen. That kind of surprised me there. All right, moving on to Saturday. I really thought Austin Peay would give Louisville a better game. Austin Peay is a good FCS team, made some playoff runs, but no, 62-0 in that one. What a great win for Vanderbilt, man. I mean, I've been a Virginia Tech fan for years, with Frank Beamer and what's the defensive coordinator's name? Bud something. Anyway, he's a badass defensive coordinator. But man, Vandy beating Va Tech like that makes you wonder what kind of season is Vanderbilt going to have. Bud Foster, that was the defensive coordinator's name at Va Tech, badass defensive coordinator. But it makes you wonder what kind of season Vandy's going to have. I mean, surely they can build on this. We're seeing some of these SEC teams are playing so far. Haven't looked all that great. I know it's the beginning of the season, but hey, why not thinking about going for it and go for a bowl game, huh? It was 6-0. Iowa beating Illinois State at halftime. We were all wondering, well, where's this new offense that Iowa has? They got rid of Kirk Ferentz' son, brought in another guy. Showed up in the second half where they scored 34 points. So maybe they were just sleepwalking or feeling out Illinois State. I don't know. Cade McNamara, 251 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Johnson ran for 119 and 2 touchdowns. Vander Zee, 2 touchdown catches for Iowa. Number 8, Penn State and West Virginia. That started out pretty good. Penn State beat them 34-12. 2-hour weather delay in that one. Give Penn State credit, though. People saying they can't win big games. West Virginia's a good team. They beat them. Now we got to see what else Penn State can do for the rest of the season when it comes to other big games. Drew Aller for Penn State, 216 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Wallace III, 117 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. PSU's defense played great. Held West Virginia to 246 total yards, which ain't bad, but also ain't that good. 2 sacks and 3 turnovers. Nittany Lion defense force. I thought Clemson would put up a fight against Georgia. I was wrong there. Georgia beat them by 31. Slow first half, man. Only 6 points in that game. Really, really slow game. Second half, Georgia finally got that offense rolling. Clemson, only 188 total yards. 9 different Georgia receivers caught passes in this game. You wonder what's left for Clemson, what's going to happen the rest of the year. I think we're right there at Florida State. That might be, who knows? That might be the battle for the first win of each team, the way they're playing. Who knows? I picked South Dakota State to beat Oklahoma State. Nope. They did have a chance, though. They were down by 11 at halftime. Cowboys came out and outscored South Dakota State 27-14 in the second half. Bowman, 3 TDs. Gordon, 2 rushing TDs for the Cowboys. Cowboys got Arkansas Saturday. That could be an interesting game. I wasn't surprised Miami of Ohio gave Northwestern a fight. They're a good team. If I remember right, they're the MAC champions from last year. But Northwestern ended up winning by 7. So I thought Ohio would beat Syracuse. Nope. Syracuse won by 16. Ohio's a good MAC team, but just wasn't good for Syracuse. Florida, Miami. Boy, Hurricanes had their hands full in the first half. 14-point game at halftime. Miami defense held Florida to just 7 points in the second half. I know they lost their quarterback somewhere in that second half. Cam Ward looked great for Miami. 385 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. After watching an A&M game, I wish he would have transferred to A&M, but oh well. Hurricane defense held Florida to 1 out of 9 on third down. Caused 2 turnovers, had 3 sacks. Question is Miami back, or is Florida just going to be that bad this year? One of these things we got to wait to see how the season plays out to find out the answers to that question. Hey, how about the Idaho schools, man? They gave the Oregon schools fits. Oregon beat Idaho by only 10 points. Oregon State beat Idaho State by 23, but Idaho State played a good game. So give credit to those Idaho teams, man. They came out fighting last Saturday. Nevada beat a good Troy team by 2. Sam Houston comes to Houston. We just talked about Rice and Wayne Graham. Dominates Rice, winning by 20 in Rice Stadium. Bearcats scored twice in 50 seconds in that game. Quarterback Hunter Walton, 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. UNLV beat Houston 27-7. I really thought with Willie Fitz coming over from Tulane to Houston, he would get that team going again. Maybe he can, but not in this first game. Hawaii, man, they almost beat UCLA. Bruins win by outscoring Hawaii 6-0 in the fourth quarter. Hawaii looking to be a much improved team than they have been. Like we mentioned, Abilene Christian taking it to Texas Tech. Texas Tech won by 1 in overtime. And then some drunk hits Abilene Christian's bus. Fresno State gave Michigan a game. Michigan needs to figure some things out because Texas is coming in Saturday, and it looks like just about every pregame show that can is going to be there, so they need to figure stuff out. Freaking A&M lost to Notre Dame by 10. A&M quarterback Connor Wegman never looked comfortable. Looked like he was playing on eggshells that whole game, so they need to figure things out. And part of the game, it felt like Jimbo was still there coaching. I mean, it really did. Horrible performance. Texas State beat Lamar 34-27. Lamar did play the Bobcats tough. Texas State much improved. Lamar's picked to win the Southland Conference. We'll see if that happens. Arizona State, who's been down the last several years, beat Wyoming, which has been a good team the last few years. I did not see that one coming. 48-7, the Sun Devils win that one. Once again, New Mexico starts the game off strong. Looks like a great team. Fades in the second half. They were down by 3 to number 21 Arizona at halftime. Second straight week this has happened for the Lobos. They were outscored 34-15 in the second half of that one. Sunday, boy, I had high hopes for LSU. Lost to USC 27-20. I'm going to say this. This is my opinion. Bad coaching decisions really kind of played a part in this game. First of all, it goes off to the kickoff. They win. LSU wins the coin toss. We're going to receive. I don't care who you are, how badass you are, who you're playing. You never know what's going to happen in the game. Never receive. You always kick because you never know if you're going to need that ball in the second half. You never know if your star quarterback and running backs and wide receivers all go down with injuries or whatever. Always kick the ball. I can't believe coaches have not learned that. I don't know what kind of, they think they're going to be intimidating doing that? No. So anyway, LSU, they receive, get the ball all the way down there, can't get it in. Instead of kicking the field goal and taking the points, they go for it on fourth down, USC ball. Anyway, very conservative play calling. I didn't catch the OC's name this year, but very, very conservative play calling. Other than that, both offense and defenses I thought played good. Remember, there's talk about the defense of USC and LSU the last couple of years. They look better. They don't look like 2019 LSU and defensive USC had on those championship teams, but they looked a hell of a lot better than they have in the last couple of years. USC quarterback Miller Moss, 378 passing yards, a touchdown. 68 rushing yards. Marks had 68 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. Garrett Nussmeier for LSU, 304 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Emery Jr. has some good runs, not big numbers, but he shot through that line quite a few times. Lacey had some great catches in the first half, and then he kind of disappeared in the second half, but 94 receiving yards and a touchdown. LSU had 10 penalties for 99 yards. Yeah, that play calling, they have got to get that thing figured out here because they really could have won that game. And they really should have because I think it was late in the third, maybe early in the fourth. USC's driving down the field. LSU stops them. LSU's defense was out there for a while. USC goes for it on 4th down. LSU stops them. Defense is gassed. The team is up, momentum going. And then LSU calls 3 conservative plays. And USC has the ball back like that within a minute, 2 minutes. So your gas defense has to come back on the field because your play calling is stupid. Way to go. Way to go. I blame the coaches for that loss. Even though, Kelly's pounding on the desk in the press conference. And no, that was your coach's fault. Monday. I didn't see this one coming. I thought Florida State was going to bounce back after that Georgia Tech loss. Y'all know I'm not a fan of Bill O'Brien, the way he was here in the Texans. But give it to Bill O'Brien and the Eagles, man. They beat Florida State at Doak Campbell 28-13. Mike Norvell, Florida State coach, says this is his fault. This loss was his fault. So there you go. All right, so getting on to this week. Like I said, no games tonight because the NFL. I don't know why college football doesn't tell the NFL to go to hell. We're playing on that Thursday night. Some interesting games coming up. So tomorrow night, 6 p.m., ESPN2, BYU versus SMU. SMU is better in all the categories, but still, that might be a good game. 8 p.m., Fox Sports 1, Battle of the Brains, Duke versus Northwestern. That might be a pretty good one. Saturday, 11 a.m. on Fox, number 4, Texas versus number 9, Michigan. Everybody's talking about this. UT is better in all the yardage categories. The one thing Michigan got going for it, they are better on 3rd down so far. So we'll see. This one here I'm looking forward to. 11 a.m. ABC, Arkansas versus number 17, Oklahoma State. We're going to see how improved Arkansas is with Bobby Petrino in there doing some things. So we'll see. That should be a pretty good game. I'm going to watch that one. Texas and Michigan on the pad, but Arkansas and Oklahoma State, that'll be on the TV. 11 a.m. ESPN, number 18, Kansas State versus Tulane. Could be a tough game for Kansas State. We'll see. Remember, Ole Miss went to Tulane last year, had a hell of a time. Finally, in the 4th quarter, I think it's 4th quarter where they won that game. So, might be a tough game for K-State. Keep an eye on that one. 11 a.m. ACC Network, Georgia Tech versus Syracuse. Georgia Tech is better in all the yardage categories and 3rd down. Syracuse played a pretty good game against a good Ohio team last week, so we'll see. 2:30 NBC. Northern Illinois versus number 7 Notre Dame. Northern Illinois, they're a pretty good team. Their quarterback, Ethan Hampton, 5 touchdowns last week. So keep an eye on that game. 2:30 on Fox, Baylor versus number 12, Utah. Baylor is better at passing. Utah is better at rushing. 3rd down, they're kind of even on that one. We're going to see if Baylor is going to be better this year. I mean, they're playing Utah. That's going to be the measuring stick right there. 2:30 CBS. Great rivalry, Iowa versus Iowa State. That's always a really good game. They always tend to play it early, too. They never play it at the end of the year. It's always like within the first 3 games. So, but it's always a pretty good game, so keep an eye on that one. 2:30, Big Ten Network, Michigan State versus Maryland, both 1-0. Looking to Michigan State, at least, is looking to have a better offensive output than they had last week. 2:30, Fox Sports 1. South Dakota versus Wisconsin. Both 1-0. South Dakota's a good team. Made a heck of a playoff run last year. They are close in all the categories, yardage, third down, all that. So that could be a really good one. 2:30 on ABC. South Carolina versus Kentucky, both 1-0. SEC showdown. Can't say the East anymore because there is no East. But they are also close in all the categories. 2:30 on ESPN2. California versus Auburn. Once again, they are close in all the yardage categories. 3 p.m. on ESPNU. UTSA versus Texas State, both 1-0. Not only are they close in yardage categories, but UTSA and Texas State are also close. One in San Antonio, one in San Marcos, just a little bit ways down 35 there. So that good rivalry there. 3:15 on the SEC Network, 3:15 on Southeast Conference Network. Jeez. Middle Tennessee versus number 6 Ole Miss. Remember, Middle Tennessee went into Miami last year, beat them. I know Miami wasn't as good as Ole Miss is, but still, you never know what's going to happen. 5:30 ESPN Plus, Sam Houston versus Central Florida. Both of them are playing really good so far. 6 p.m. on ESPN, number 5 Alabama versus South Florida. This time it's in Tuscaloosa. So I don't think Alabama's going to have quite a tough time as they did against South Florida last year. But still, like we said, it's college football. Anything can happen. Keep an open mind and keep an eye out on that one. 6 p.m. on FS1. This might be a pretty good one. Number 22, Kansas versus Illinois. Kansas is better rushing. Illinois slightly better in passing. That could be a good one there. 6 p.m. on ESPN2, Virginia versus Wake Forest. Those two teams are pretty even in all the categories also. 6 p.m. on the ESPN Plus, Tulsa versus Arkansas State. 6 p.m. CBS Sports Network, San Jose State versus Air Force. San Jose State, better passing, as we expected. Air Force, way better at rushing. This one here looks like to be interesting. I think I'm going to check this one out. 6:30 on ABC, number 15, Tennessee versus number 24, NC State. Tennessee was all over. Who was it? Tennessee Martin, I think they played, or Chattanooga last Saturday. Kicked the crap out of them. NC State had a tough time with Western Carolina until that fourth quarter. But they're playing in rivalry. They're playing in Raleigh. It's going to be loud there. Tennessee is better in all the categories, but still, sometimes. Another good one I'm going to have to keep an eye on. I probably have to have this one on the iPad. 6:30 NBC, Colorado versus Nebraska. Old Big 8, old Big 12 rivalry. CU's better at passing. Nebraska is better at rushing. They're both kind of even on third down, so we'll see how that one works out. All right, we got some good late games. We do. I think Hawaii screwed us again this week with their pay-to-watch us play. But, hey, there's some good ones starting around the 9 o'clock era. 9 o'clock on Peacock, Boise State versus number 3, Oregon. Oregon better passing. They are even in all the other categories, rushing, third down, all that. So that could be a good one to check out. Another one, 9 p.m. on Fox, Texas Tech versus Washington State. Two great quarterbacks there. 9:15 on ESPN2, Liberty versus New Mexico State. Liberty, they've been a good team for a while now. New Mexico State, still a good team, much improved last year. Even in all categories. So that could be pretty good too. All right, 9:30 ESPN, Mississippi State versus Arizona State. Both 1-0, both want to improve very, very badly. They are even in the categories, so this could be a shootout. 9:30 CBS Sports Network, Oregon State versus San Diego State. Both 1-0. Beavers are better in all categories, but hey, it's late night college football. 10 p.m. Big Ten Network. This could be a good one. It depends if Utah State has improved. Because remember, Utah State a few years ago used to be a really good football team. They kind of fell off last year. They're playing number 23 USC. USC is better in all the categories except Utah State is better in rushing. That is it. No college football tonight, but I'm going to watch some Texas high school football online. A lot of those schools have YouTube channels, so I'm going to watch the games. And then college football picks back up tomorrow night and then Saturday. Bam. Almost there. Got a day and a half to the weekend. Y'all stay busy. It'll go by fast. Be safe, and we'll see you back sometime probably early next week to preview week 3 and go over what happened this last Saturday. Anyway, we'll see you next time.